time.
Should we bring in Michael Tickner now, Conservative councillor for Bromley in South London? Thank you for joining us, Michael. But you have got some time for what Suella Braverman says, that a lot of these people, or some of these people, are choosing to live in tents as a lifestyle choice. They could get themselves accommodation, but they choose not to. You agree with that?
Good afternoon. Yes, indeed, I do. And we can't let this situation escalate out of control. So I'm very supportive. I've spoken to people living in tents, and they all have their hard luck story to say, why they're there. I ask them why they won't use the hostels that are available. Many hostels require them to have a shower and not to bring alcohol in and not to smoke in the hostel, and that's something they dislike.
Yeah, that is a problem.
But, I mean, Alex Back's there pointing out, and I've heard this from a number of people, that hostels themselves can be very threatening environments to some homeless people. People who might be trying to get off drugs will find they're surrounded by people with quite severe drugs habits. Sometimes women who have been abused living on the streets might turn up to a hostel to find their abuser already present. And then, so this is on one side what we have in terms of domestic homelessness. And then we also have the potential influx of people who are essentially travellers who want to use temporary accommodation, and that is, one would argue, a choice. Have you seen an uptick in people deciding to come and pitch up in Bromley in streets in recent years?
It's not a huge problem in Bromley where my residents are, but it certainly is in central London, and it will soon spread. I encourage my residents not to give money to people begging, and I think that is good advice, because it only encourages them into a life of dependency on handouts.
And I think, Michael, that what we have to be careful about is a replication of the situation in America, whereby a few tents down some of the streets of Los Angeles or New York or Chicago quickly turned into tent cities. And we're seeing here evidence of that kind of situation over there in the States. So if we're not careful, we'll end up with tent cities, you know, hundreds of people in small towns living on the streets. Something has to be done about that, doesn't it? Indeed
it does. And I'm sceptical about charities, you know, intervening, and you know, they have the best of intentions, but their bleeding hearts can rule their bleeding heads.
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely difficult. But do you think the timing of this has potentially been a bit strange, given that there's so much going on? It's coming up to winter. Everyone's very well aware of the weather significantly changing. We're in a cost of living crisis, and this is the exact time that Suella Braverman appears to be going after preventing homeless people being able to put shelter over their heads.
Well, this is the exact time that it is beginning to escalate, just over the last few weeks. So I think it's an important intervention. I think it's important that the government has things to say about it and takes action about it. Otherwise, it will go completely out of control.
Michael, thank you ever so much. Michael Tickner, a Conservative Bromley councillor there. Very difficult situation. It seems to be one of those blanket policies designed to stop one thing, having a detrimental effect on completely different people.